What's your number one?
My number one, my number one isn't necessarily a horror flick in the sense that it's a body horror flick.
Okay.
Okay.
Which are creepy as fuck.
Yeah, and it is The Fly. Okay.
You talking about the David Cronenberg?
The David Cronenberg, Jeff Goldblum, Geena Davis, The Fly, the remake. Okay. That one I think hit home for me, and I watched this when I was young. Like my mom was trusting enough that she was like, she told the video store like just let him run whatever. And I came across that simply because Spider-Man. You know, this guy gets powers from a radioactive spider. This guy gets powers from a fly. Okay, let's watch this.
So wrong.
And you know, and it starts off like immediately. Like Goldblum is one of those guys that's just weird. Period.
Mm.
And the premise is that Jeff Goldblum's character has created teleportation. So he's got a pod here, he's got a pod here, and now he's basically trying to get it so that he can teleport humans, and then sell it to the government so he can make a wad of cash. And he meets Geena Davis like right in the beginning, and she's a reporter, and he basically says, "Do a story on me." Okay. Well, eventually, within the first little bit, she helps him realize what's going wrong and why he can't actually teleport organic tissue.
Mm-hmm.
So then he does the teleportation by himself, gets in the pod, and when he gets into the pod, a fly comes in, and then takes apart everything that is him and the fly, puts it together, and now from here on out, he's referred to as Brundlefly.
The Brundlefly.
Okay, because part Brundle, which is his character's name, and part Fly, and it's from there where he starts to immediately get all the benefits. So he's got increased strength, he's got increased stamina. They show a scene where like he's banging the shit out of Geena Davis, and she's like, "Okay, all right," and he's like, I'm all set. Let's go again," you know, and it seems all hunky dory, but then you start to see little things like he's got really thick patch of hair on the back of him. He's like, I don't know what the hell that is. You start to see bits of his face start to look like he's got pox, and this is where it gets scary for me, because it's one of those where like if I had the opportunity to get superpowers, why wouldn't I, right?
Yeah.
You don't see the superhero aspect where he gets these powers and wants to do good, and he's still relatively attractive because it's not like Peter Parker was ever ugly,
Mm-hmm.
right? But now you see he's slowly turning into a human fly, and that's where it starts to get like really like ugh. And there's like even just scenes where he's starting to freak out, like he's getting angrier because like he's got all this extra energy, and she's like, I just can't. So he's like, fuck you then, and he leaves. And he's got all this. He does an arm wrestling thing. It's still one of the grossest scenes I've ever seen in my life, where he goes to arm wrestle this big huge dude and splits the guy right here. And it's just
I forgot about that.
ugh.
Yeah, that was gross.
You know? And then eventually, like, the relationship between her and him deteriorates because he's becoming more and more Brundlefly, and he doesn't really understand the changes, so he's just getting crazier, right? So she leaves, and then we get back to him, and now he's hunched over he's not wearing any clothes now, because now he's like almost like he's falling apart essentially.
Yeah.
Like they show scenes where like he's ripping off his fingernails, which is
Gross.
just
Whenever I see that in a
gross.
scene, when I see fingernails or eyeballs in a horror movie,
you know, and he's just like he's literally like, ugh. And then like the special effects in this is like in the like late 80s, and it's what's the guy's name now? Stan Wrightson?
Oh, I know who you're talking
I can't remember his name now. But
yeah.
like, just it's like it's gross, but it's so realistic, and that's what I'm saying with the no CGI in this movie at all, because they didn't have the technology at that level.
Mm-hmm.
And so you see these changes with him, and it's just getting like scary, like grosser and grosser. And he's becoming more and more of a fly. Like even like He's got no teeth. He's vomiting.
Oh yeah,
Stomach
that's
acid
gross.
to eat stuff, and now she's looking at him like it's a tragedy case. It went from being like she liked him, possibly loved him, to now being like pity and scared for him, and he's in, and Goldblum starts off really weird, like he always is, but then as he's becoming more fly, he gets more twitchy, and his eyes are darting, he's like consuming mass amounts of sugar, like all these things, and then eventually like just got all these weird ticks and tweaks and stuff, and then it really takes off where he officially goes nuts and he finds out that she's pregnant. And I'm going to spoil the whole movie. I'm going to literally spoil the whole movie. He finds out that she's pregnant and she wants to have an abortion. And he's literally like, you can't have an abortion. So now he's looking at it like he no longer wants to continue becoming Brundlefly. So he's going to use that baby to help him get back to what he, like his normal. So he's just gonna, like teleport the two of them, and then hopefully be reconstituted into what it used to be. And this is where like it's scary because like you see him changing, and that's scary enough as it is. Like, just the fact that like your body and the level of special effects is just so real. And even just that point where like it's scary for me because I'm going like he's so far gone that he doesn't realize that if this works, he's going to be like Seth Brundle, Geena Davis, because I can't remember what her name was. So, but it'll be an amalgamation of the two. Like he's never ever going to get back to what he was.
No.
Right, and her Geena Davis' ex-boyfriend is still kind of in the picture, and he's starting to like what the fuck's going on, and then it just ends in this final setup where like he's now like his hands have fallen off, and now it's claws, and he's becoming more and more like a human fly. Like his feet are now just like claws again, and the final scene where his face just comes off, and it's like and it's like just so, and that's it. Like you're like holy fuck, and he's trying to get her in there, and then finally the ex-boyfriend comes in and shoots Brundlefly into the teleporter. It goes off. He teleports by himself, and now he's just like a torso essentially. Like he's fucked. And there's that final part where like she's got the shotgun, and she can't do it, and he literally lifts it like claw, like just do it. Like he realizes that's it. It's over, and it's just like this build up to like this crazy ending where you're like, holy fuck. And like the special effects really help make this movie. The acting helps make this movie. But this is the movie where like I could be 20 minutes from the end and I'll still watch it.
Yeah.
Because I think it's because like I was saying with the Spider-Man stuff, it does strike a nerve in me that it's like, but that's the other flip side. Like that's science gone wrong. That's male ego gone wrong.
Yeah.
Like you have all these benefits, but what are the side effects? And then what happens when the side effects outweigh the benefits? And then you're like so into this that you're willing to do anything at all to get back to where you were, and it doesn't matter. Like the ends justify the means, and there's nothing heroic about that. It's just like, just everything just ramps up, and I'm like, I can't get over how great that movie is, even though it spawned the worst sequel ever.
Well, Eric Stoltz had to do something after he was kicked off as Marty McFly.
Yeah, but like I mean, like I know that you watch the movie, you just assume that after Brundlefly is killed and whatever, like she would have an abortion. Like literally, why would you
have the baby?
Why would you even think to have the baby? They had a scene where she dreamed that she gave birth to a larva.
Yeah, right. That scene is gross.
Ugh,
that's so gross.
Gross.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, as it stands right now, as a man, I'm never going to be able to give birth to a child, right? Advances in modern medicine, we don't know. But the second I have in my head that a larva is going to come out of me, I'm like, no, never.
No.
Tie those tubes up. I'm not having a kid.
Yep.
Fuck that shit. So the fact that spawned the sequel is just. But
yeah,
like I said, like the special effects, every stage that he goes through, and then like he gets like crazier and crazier. It's legit like scary in that sense that like that could be anybody. Like that could happen to anybody, and like I said, like that pursuit of greatness. What happens and at what cost? Like,
It's the thing about those old horror movies from the 80s '80s and '70s, and like the practical effects before there was CG,
Yeah.
way scarier, way more real.
It doesn't take me out of the movie. Like, it's
No.
easier to look at a CGI movie and go like, well, that was scary, but like that's not real.
Yeah.
Whereas this, like, it's real. Like, it's a costume and it's fake and it's all that stuff, but it's real costume. It's real fake shit.
Yeah, like bring up Paul W.S. Anderson quickly. I watched Mortal Kombat again, which I loved as a kid. Right? The CG is so bad in it now; it takes me right out of the film. Right out. Like, I think if you would have done Reptile with practical effects, it would have been way scarier.
Well, it would have been, but then you still had the shots of the guys flipping slowly through midair.
Yeah, the movie still sucks at the end of the day. But,
Yeah.
I mean, just looking at my list here, like Trick or Treat and the Descent, they're not from the '80s; they're rather recent horror films, but they're all practical effects.
Yeah.
So CG.
Yeah.
And that I don't know. I love practical effects.
So do I, and I mean, like, even The Fly, like, for it to be a remake,
Mm-hmm.
you know, which, like, even the original, it's like the guy loses, he gets a fly head and a fly hand.
Yeah.
Special effects there are actually really good.
Yeah.
You know,
That time too.
but the premise, I love that they took it and they went, like, they ramped it up. They set it in the '80s and they set it in the real world. They made real world applications like Hollow Man,
Yes.
which I rewatched and it's terrible. It's so bad. I watched it with
It's
Michelle
not good.
on our honeymoon, and she was just like,
You watched Kevin Bacon's Hollow Man on your honeymoon?
yeah.
What
I
the
know, like,
fuck?
as I'm saying this, I was like, wow, you're the most romantic guy in the
Good thing you
world.
were already married at that time.
Oh, yeah, well, I locked that down, and then it's like, let's watch a garbage movie. But I mean, like, I remember just being like, and it reminded me of The Fly because I was like, that is a remake that doesn't negate the original. It makes you kind of want to see the original, whereas the Hollow Man one is so fucking terrible.
Yeah.
And never mind the CGI. That's one of the aspects that really took me out of it was the CGI, but the premise and everything about it, like, the original is so much better, and that's not even a great movie to begin with.
Yeah.
But, you know, but that's it. So that's my
As
all-time
top three,
favorite,
I got my top three.
scariest movie.
So mine, Halloween. Halloween, Trick or Treat, The Descent.
That's
there
right.
it is.
That's right. Whereas I got The Fly, I've got New Nightmare, and I've got
Event Horizon. Nightmare.
That's right.
There you go.
Just watch
Totally
it. You'll
fucked
know.
up. Those 6 movies, watch if you haven't seen them. If you have seen them, let us know down below what you thought of them. Let us know what your top 3 are.
That's right.
I'd
I'd
love
love
to
to
know
hear
about
top 3 because I mean, if I haven't seen it, I'll check it out. And
Yeah,
we'll talk.
Definitely check it out.